basically like, you know, we're talking about like cereal box cardboard.
They're like, what government?
You have a Costco near you. Go to Costco, and when they have the pallets, every layer from that cereal box is a sheet of cardboard. It's like 4x4, and that's all free.
We've taken it for costumes before.
Yeah. I made a whole suit of armor out of cardboard and epoxy sculpt. I have a Spartan costume, and the entire thing is 100% cardboard and epoxy sculpt. And when I ran out of oatmeal boxes and cereal boxes, I went to Costco and my roommate and I just like filled up this truck with cardboard.
That's so awesome.
It's all handy. Yeah.
I was wondering what your costume is made out of?
Oh, I'm wearing Lady Sif from Thor. My costume is not the greatest idea of methods, but it's, wow, aggressive. Mine's made out of craft foam or EVA foam, and it was coated with resin. Don't do that. Do not do that. Because the resin will never be rigid enough, so on bendable parts it will snap and will break. If you come up close, you can see how herbs and resin don't exactly happen the way that I think they could happen.
She made this and I was making a Heimdall at the
Yeah,
same time.
I'm doing this
And
one.
Heimdall is a bit better because it's a big chest piece that needs to be rigid. So it's made out of Harbor Freight floor mats and craft foam.
With
And
resin coating.
the chest part is all coated in resin, but the parts I needed to bend, we just plasti dip and painted it.
Yeah, that's the way to go. We recommend if you're going to do foam armor, seal with plasti dip and then paint on top of that. Make sure you use the proper paint. But do you guys want to talk about paints?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, paint's the worst thing in the world.
Paint is good.
What advice do you have for painting on top of like Gatorade bottles or painting on top of floor mats?
Foam, plasti dip. Well, you can. There's always this trade-off of like, do you have time or do you have money?
Yeah.
And there's always a balance. The faster, slightly more expensive way is use plasti dip.
And it's not that much more expensive too.
Yeah, plasti dip is like $8 a can. And it
So you have
doesn't
to
take.
do like, how many? I usually do like 5 or 6 layers of
Yeah.
plastic. Yeah, I do a lot, but I usually
Usually around 3.
really, I try to like, I'm just like, you're not coming off.
Because plasti dip is literally rubber in a can. It's
Yeah.
super, super toxic. If you're gonna use it, wear a respirator and go outside because that stuff is super dangerous.
I use, oh, I'm sorry.
New Life food spray is another good
New
one.
Life is wonderful.
It's really good. It's basically liquid vinyl in a can, so it'll stick to rubber and stuff and it's bendable.
What was that called?
New Life.
New Life?
Yeah, it's
NU.
NULIFE. You can find it at it's made for shoes and stuff. So it comes in a lot of colors, but if you need like lots of colors, go online, go on eBay,
Yeah, eBay.
and like they make a really great metallic.
We use their gold for a lot of
Please excuse
things.
my ignorance, but is plasti dip, is that come in colors or is that a primer?
It does
Is
come in
that
colors now.
Actual paint?
Yeah,
If
it comes
you-
in like black and clear.
If you go to the hardware store, you're probably gonna miss the stuff. Like it's made for like dipping. There's like cans of it you can buy. It usually comes in yellow and black for like tool handles, or you can buy a rattle can, a spray can, and that usually comes in black, like a matte clear.
So when you use the plasti dip, do you dip the item then clean it?
It sprays. So yeah, you use it like your primer basically.
Okay, primer.
If you're doing foam, because it'll stick.
Yeah. Another thing I've done for foam is I use balloon latex. So what I do is So what I do is I can build like something like your breastplate, and I build like exactly the same way on foam, and then I paint it with contact cement, and then I use a Critter spray gun which has no moving parts, and then I use that attached to a compressor and spray just balloon latex over it, and then you get like 5 or 6 layers of that, and it's like indestructible.
And what paints can you put on top of it?
You can just put acrylic. You can just
Good old
use,
acrylic.
yeah, you can just do spray paint, and then my friend Evil Ted, who has he's the one that taught me everything I know, and he puts actually like floor wax over it,
Oh.
and does it
I've heard of that,
yeah, so you just put floor wax over the foam, and I probably work with plasti dip too.
So the plasti dip is just basically your primer coat. In
Yeah.
order to get to adhere to the.
Because
Yeah.
foam is basically rubber, which is
Yeah.
If it's the right color, it could just
And you
be
just throw some rub and buff on there.
yeah. Rub and buff. If you want to do metallic stuff, rub and buff is wax based, so it sticks to almost everything.
You can get it all at Michael's craft store too.
Yeah, because it's just like it's an actual metal in wax. So you can put it on, you can polish it. That stuff's really awesome.
It can be a bit spotty for bigger projects.
Yeah, but for highlighting stuff. But basically, painting foam, you've got a lot of different ways. You can do the rub, you can do a plasti dip, you can do latex. Really cheap way, if you've got all the time in the world, you don't want to spend more than like $3, is you use what they call PVA glue.
PVA,
PVA glue, which is literally Elmer's glue.
Elmer's glue.
Yeah.
You You can buy, if you go to like Home Depot, you can buy a gallon of Elmer's glue for like $8. I did that once, and I used like this much of it, but I just refused to throw it away. I will never use it again.
Yeah, that
It
was
will
basically
crack,
on this.
it will crack too,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Eventually, because you have to
This
put on a
was
couple layers.
PVA first.
Yeah, I did some like Wizard of Armor, because I didn't have a lot of time. That's nothing, you don't have a lot of time. PVA, you're just like, oh, okay, all right, time to go. And it was fine until I like walked around and was like, oh, it looks like a hot mess now. Oh well, bad managed.
The other thing, if you can find the colors you want, Krylon Fusion spray paint, stuff made for plastic, actually bonds to EVA foam.
Yeah,
So like the
great.
stuff used for like plastic chairs?
Yeah, that stuff will actually stick to foam.
Bonded mold and stuff for.
My friend Will, WM Armor, he makes a lot of, if you've seen Mass Effect armor, odds are good, most of it's his. That's all he does, he just formats, paints it with that, and then he wet sands it, which literally means like high grade sandpaper, and over like 500 and water.
Like automotive.
Yeah, and he just polishes it, and then paints it again, polishes it, and just does it in layers, and it still looks like worn metal, it's beautiful. And it's just straight
Can
paint.
your paint give layers, ingredients for that?
That one is just, you go to the store, you buy Krylon Fusion paint,
Fusion.
and you paint it.
Yeah.
And then you sand it and you paint it some more. It's one of those things, the level of quality you want is just how much time you put into it, but you can just use
And the color's
Fusion.
available.
Yeah, Fusion makes a lot of good stuff now.
But the metallics, you gotta go like new life on these, right?
Yeah, Krylon has beautiful regular paint, terrible metallics.
Yeah.
I painted a helmet once with some Krylon paint that looked just like this for about 2 hours. And I let it sit for a couple days and I touched it, and that fingerprint is like literally imprinted in the paint and everything.
Yeah.
What was I use Design Master, the floral spray.
Oh, I love it,
Yeah.
it smells like apple pie.
Yeah, that's,
God, it's
that
good.
stuff works really well on home and like,
We used
and
to
fabric
Yeah.
and, that
Yeah,
stuff's
some of
awesome.
it, but on Heimdall wherever you sweat it is.
Yeah, it
Literally.
melts
Yeah.
if you sweat on that stuff.
I haven't sweat on it, so it's a good
We
tip.
recommend don't
It's a good
sweat
tip,
on
I
it,
won't,
yeah.
yeah.
You should stop sweating.
Yeah, I actually have, I went to the fun, like, share story, but it's great. I went to the Japanese dollar store by my house. They have little pads that stick in your clothes to keep, to like not get sweat on your clothes. And I was like, these are like the best thing for cosplay. They were $1.
Did they work?
Yes,
Well-
they're like little like stick in like armpit things so you don't sweat on your costume.
Go to
Like,
the
this
dollar
is
store by
genius.
you now.
This is genius,
Yeah.
yeah. Because you don't want to
Flash,
sweat on, you
spandex.
don't want to sweat on your spandex costume. You just want to wear a little like Japanese dollar store.
Alright, well, we're going to your dollar store
Yeah,
and we're
I-
stocking up.
It's great, it's great, you should.
Right next to the Krylon, there's another brand at Home Depot that they come in like stipples and all kinds of weird
The
textures.
Rust-Oleum stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all plastic friendly too. And with
Yeah.
regard to your issue, because I got the same problem where I got a beautiful brass color and then touched it. If you cover it, if you spray it with Aquanet unscented, it protects it.
I have heard hairspray stealing. Ceilings have been, but you have to also sticky.
Yeah, and the other thing, most metallics, another random
Oh,
paint
yeah.
advice, if you're painting anything with like the gold or like aluminum, anything that's got that weird metallic sheen to it, you can't put anything on top of it.
It'll go dull.
It'll do this weird, like you take like gold and you paint it, it'll get this weird like bronzy cast iron color. If you want something to look old, it's
Yeah.
great.
It's
but
great.
It won't look shiny gold anymore.
Learned that doing Wonder Woman armor.
Instead of going to Home Depot, the best thing that I've seen, this is some of my paint, is go to the automotive, buy car paint.
Yeah,
Car
it
paint
tends
looks
to be a higher quality.
Car paint looks the best.
Yeah,
It's also a money thing.
yeah, so yeah, you can get better quality at an automotive store.
Yep.
And so many different varieties of colors.
Yeah,
And heck, run it through an air.
that's why the car painting is the best. Buy yourself a very cheap airbrush kit, little compressor, practice, and you can shoot.
Yeah, if
Put
you
it
have,
over it.
if you have,
Anybody's up to that level for
Yeah.
Harbor Freight?
Oh my god, yeah, their airbrush is $70. It comes with an airbrush and a tiny compressor, and it's $70. I still
But-
use my Harbor Freight, the
Yeah.
full compressor.
But if you're still at a $10 round, you can't help it. There's some options, plenty of good
Yeah.
options out there. Somebody else have questions? We want to keep talking about paint? We keep talking about paint. All right, well, this is one of my favorite questions, because everyone wants to know how you get started. How did you get started doing this? What tools did you guys have that allowed you to start? Like, what did you have as your basically like, all right, now I can get these duct tape bottles together?
Well, I had very little parental supervision.
It's a great start.
So when I was a kid, I would just make stuff and just run around the house and just be insane. And so eventually I was like, I should make different stuff. And then my first costume was just half my Ren Fair costume and then a lot of Sculpey. Once I discovered Sculpey, like the world opened up for me. I was like, everything can be made of Sculpey. It won't break.
Tell people what Sculpey is.
Sculpey is a clay you can get from Michael's or any craft store that's a modeling clay that you bake. And I thought that was the coolest thing, because you could make something and then bake it, and then it was permanent. Well, it's kind of permanent. If you drop it, it immediately breaks into a million pieces. So I started making things out of Sculpey and paper clay and latex. Anything I could get from Michael's or Home Depot was the only stuff that I could make. That's why my costume that I ended up, my first armor costume, which was a Tier 5 Warlock from World of Warcraft, had like big spiked shoulders and stuff. I used just Sculpey and wood and just whatever I could find, and actually baked like half the shoulder in my oven. Just like put it in my oven. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Again, no supervision. Like no one cared if I put giant things in my oven. So
Don't put plastic in your ovens.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I just had, I just was going to figure out how to make stuff. And anything I didn't know how to make, I looked up online. Like anything I didn't, I would
Google is
always
your
go
friend.
online and just
Yeah.
find any way to make anything. Even if it was the littlest hint, I would try it. And don't be afraid to try anything. Even if you think you're wrong, just try it. It might work.
Yeah.
That's how we figured out what we do. It's like, start with Google.
Yeah,
It's like you're trying to do a thing, type in the thing.
Yeah.
exactly.
And see what other people have done. You're gonna find at least half a dozen different ways
And
to
then
do
read
it.
the comments and see what other people do.
Yeah.
Unlike what I did with this technique. Do that.
Yeah, and then pick a couple, try it.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I got into doing what I do now is because I wanted to make other stuff, but it was like I knew like I don't want to wear Ant-Man. Not really. Ant-Man's not my jam. I also hate helmets because they make me hot.
That's fair.
So I love making helmets.
I got some for your helmet. Paintball helmets have a little fan.
Yeah, I've done that in a couple like where I've actually wired in fans and stuff for air circulation. But I wanted to like try stuff, make things different ways, and experiment with it. So that's what you have to do now. It's like new projects. I'm like, well, I could do it this way probably, but I heard about this other thing online that I found just randomly. Like, I really want to give that a go and see how it works.
better.
And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And usually if it doesn't like catastrophically. I mean, I got into this as I just transitioned from Halloween into, like, I've always had Halloween costumes my entire life. My first 2 years in college, I went home to go trick-or-treating with my friends.
That's amazing.
Because
Always the best.
yeah, I'm 6'4", and I've been that way since, like, high school. So I've been getting to, like, aren't you too old for this, since I was, like, 12. So I really didn't care.
No shame.
Yeah, I made my Spartan costume I made for Halloween. And like I said, that's cardboard and this stuff called epoxy sculpt, which is it's a 2-part clay that dries into like action figure style plastic. It's really pretty fun. You were telling me yesterday about this stuff called magic sculpt.
Magic sculpt, yeah. It's way finer than epoxy sculpt. It's just you can sculpt with better details. I worked for a while for Robot Chick in the studio doing like puppet stuff, and then we would use it to put over foam, and then it was hard because you could sculpt it, you could do details, everything, and then it would be like a little totally lightweight foam hard thing. But it's cool. The epoxy sculpt, if you're holding something together, will get the job done.
Yeah.
But magic sculpt, if you want to put a bunch of details on it, I think it's a lot easier to work with.
No, but both of those things are not terribly expensive. Like epoxy sculpt, you can buy like it's a 5-pound kit for like $30. Just go online and Google them, and you buy direct from the people because it's not sold a lot of places. I think magic sculpt is pretty close.
It's a little bit more expensive, but it's you don't need as much.
Yeah.
Really.
The ease versus money.
Yeah.
Can we play that game with Sculpey up for magic sculpt?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets easier as it gets more expensive, or
Yeah. So that first costume I made, I had a box cutter, and I made it in my living room. Like I took an apple box from Michael's to be like my cutting board desk. I didn't have anywhere to slice stuff that wouldn't destroy the furniture. And cardboard and a hot glue gun, and the epoxy sculpt was all by hand. And then I sanded it all by hand. I didn't have a power sander at that point. My first power tool was a random orbital sander, hand sanders, the circular ones, because I started using Bondo a lot. And that was all I had. I didn't even have a power drill for like the first 4 years. And everything was just done by hand with just stuff that like I found in my dad's garage when I was a kid and sort of like accumulated and brought with me. And the more I did this, the more I was just like, oh, those tools that I haven't touched in 10 years, I'm gonna claim those now. So it's really, you can do this with almost anything. It's not like you don't need specialty tools. I have a lot of specialty tools now. I have a bandsaw, and a miter saw, and a drill press, and I actually have like a little small spray booth. I have a, yeah, and I have a compressor and 2 airbrushes, and like I have a lot of stuff now that I did not have a couple of years ago, because now that people pay me for it, it's cheaper for them if I just buy the tool and can do it in a quarter of the time. So like it makes sense for me.
But you're flying solo.
Yeah. So I have a hard time, like, I have friends all the time like, oh, I need to ask you to do, like, help me do this. I'm like, I'll tell you how to do it. Because you can do it this way really cheap. If I do it that way, it's gonna cost a lot, because it's gonna take me 20, 30 hours. You can do it, it's your time, it's free for you. It's not free for me, because I gotta pay rent. But yeah, I had almost nothing when I started, just like a little toolbox with just hand tools and files, you know, stuff like that.
Box cutters are the best.
Yeah.
But also the most dangerous tool in your kit's.
Yes, I've hurt myself with a box cutter more than anything else. Never. Dremels, of course, second.
Yeah, you mentioned starting, you know, just in the house, and so we are also apartment bound at the moment. Do you have tips on how to either find space to do, you know, spraying, or how to basically, how to have fun with all of this without completely wrecking and losing the deposit?
Yeah.
You need to say I got started. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
I did
yeah, that
that
one's
first
coming
in my
next.
That's
But I
what
have
said.
something to address that. One of the things I found, you can find a big furniture box, a refrigerator box, a water heater box, a big cardboard box. Cut an opening large enough that you can see into it. Put your tools inside of your sander, your sprayers, or what have you. And then, you know, take some of those big rubber industrial gloves and cut 2 holes and run those through there so you can see your work, you can be working, you can even put lighting as long as, you know, it's LED or something that's not going to ignite it.
Burn bonds.
Yeah.
Don't put your desk.
But it allows you to keep all that dust inside that box, and then when you're all finished, you can vacuum it out. As long as you got a good
I was gonna say, the alternative that's actually collapsible, you use PVC tubing, and then the clear this week, you can just tape in sheets on the sides of the square box you make with the.
If you're just doing a lot of
And then
sanding and
just
stuff,
slap it if you don't need it.
that works really well. I had a friend who does what I do, did it full time, like paid his bills in a 1-bedroom apartment in the middle of a complex.
wow.
You know, he didn't have a balcony, he didn't have a yard. And so he would Dremel stuff all the time. He has a Dremel in his little rotary tool. And he would do it in his kitchen. So he built a little box with a little,
Oh, no.
well, he built the box with rubber gloves and stuff so he could like
He's full.
seal
Yeah,
everything
like,
in
oh, no.
and just like keep all the dust in there. And then every so often he would just, go vacuum it out. And,
Sounds like a homemade version of a bead blast or a sandblasting base.
Yeah. yeah,
I
kind of
just
just
go
with
roof.
the dish gloves.
I'd go to a park.
Yeah. I would just go somewhere weird.
I just go like where the homeless people were, and I'd be
Yeah,
like,
they don't question you.
They're not gonna question me. Sanding.
Yeah. I got lucky, I had a yard.
Yeah.
Even when I lived in San Diego, I had a little, like a small one, but I had a little yard, so I could go paint outside and do everything else inside.
Yeah, I had a box and a roof. That's what I did.
Yeah,
My
so you went up to
painting's
the roof
done
of your building.
in a box. You take that. In a box on the roof. So.
Yeah, if you're spray painting and stuff, that's what you did, just
Yeah.
bring a
It's like a
box,
shoebox.
put your stuff
On that thing.
in the box, so you just don't get overspray.
Yeah.
Or throw down,
Or you do and you just don't show people you've been spray painting full paint. And then nobody knows. That also is an option.
And they're just like, wow, these taggers were really bad.
or if you
Why is it
need,
an outline of a sword?
throw down some cardboard, or like,
Get some newspaper.
or like, if you need like drop cloths, go to Goodwill and buy bed sheets, they're usually like $1, and you get, queen size bed sheet, you can cover everything. Just try not to spray paint inside. I know one guy who fiberglasses inside
Oh my
a lot.
Oh, I used to do
Like
that.
in his hotel room after I'm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Sorry.
god, no!
Don't do that.
His roommates
Also,
were not happy.
That's
Um,
awful. I did that once when I was really young. I fiberglassed with it when I was very
Don't
young.
be young and stupid. We're helping.
I fiberglassed with the garage door closed for quite a while, and it was summer in Southern California. And I went and because I just smelled toxic chemicals for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't do that. It's bad. I mean, you'll like, in the long run, you'll not be okay. In the short run, you'll get up in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, Holly is still here for now,
Yeah, well, it's hard.
but we'll see as the years progress.
Exactly. I'll probably just turn
But yeah, working in a small space, look up, if you guys ever heard of this website called Instructables? Instructables is awesome, and they have a lot of like makers who are just people who take things. Some like us who do like the creative costume stuff, some people do like soldering. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there on how to work in a little space. Like people build custom workbenches or like stuff that folds out from like practical furniture, and just ways to like condense stuff so it doesn't take up a lot of room.
A lot of it's really pretty easy to make. A lot of the tutorials are just wonderfully simple.
They love using like IKEA furniture and like, stuff you can find at Home Depot and just repurpose, which again, very much like what we do. It's like a lot of stuff that just like, well, this is made for this, but it would totally hold this other thing that I have. So who cares what it says on the label? If it'll do what you want, if it looks the way you want, then you're good to go.
I'd love to talk about peppercorn, because we haven't talked about that form of sculpting yet. It's a very cost-effective version, but it takes a bit of time.
Exactly.
So do you want to tell people like where you find your files, or make them, the process?
Definitely. One of the best places to find peppercorn files is the RPF, also which stands for Replica Prop Forum, and you can become a member there. It doesn't cost anything, and there's just a wealth of
Great
information. Tutorials, things that people are building, shows their progress, and how they do it, and it's very informative.
Our community's really open with information. I mean, like I said, most of us learn from other people, and so we all tend to share stuff. So places like RPF are sort of like a hub of that. So it's not like there's trade secrets that we know that we're not telling you.
Just go on the RPF, it's there in a thread.
And there's the 405th, it's a Halo costume site. And that's where I first found most of my files. And I'm on the RPF, and so I'm Mikey Mushu, KLIU or something like that. I forget my own thing because I just took it off the top of my head. But anyways, the files are available for free. All you have to do is download them and get them through ForShare or any files sharing website. And then you have to download the actual software, Peppercorn software, from Tamasoft.com. And there you can get a free version, which is Peppercorn Viewer. And with that, you can take those files and they automatically, when you download them, they download right into Peppercorn. So you pull them up to Peppercorn Viewer. You can view them, you can print them, but if you want to be able to change the scale, save your work, then you have to download Peppercorn Designer, which has a $35 licensing fee, but it's good for life. And then you can manipulate the files. You can change, like you'll see at my stand, there are files that I change the scale to child size, change it to adult size. Some of the files, though, you don't really, when you download them, sometimes they're made from a game. And so a Halo game person is like 7 feet tall. So you try and download those and then you build it and you have a model. So on the bottom of every Peppercorn file, it says in millimeters what the size of the model is, height, weight, depth. So I just have a tailor's tape with me and I kind of compare it. Like, no, that's going to be way too big, and so I'll change the scale in the program. All you have to do is change either the height or the width or the depth, and it will automatically adjust the rest of the scale to fit that particular height. And then, you may be building the model and it's still too small. Well, it's only paper, and it is very time consuming. And I found that cutting it out and folding it all together and gluing it, instead of watching TV, I just listen to TV and I'm cutting and folding and
For
gluing.
your Peppercorn stuff, do you backfill with resin or do you
Yes.
fiberglass over it? So it's all resin for you?
It is, well, what I found recently, I just used straight fiberglass. The problem was I had no patience and I would pour too much in and then it would really warp and it would get too hot and it just didn't work well. So then I learned you have to do a little bit at a time when you're fiberglassing something. Then what I found really effective was a mixture of fiberglass and Bondo, because that allowed for, first of all, it didn't run as much, and when you're filling the inside of the helmet, it it didn't seep through all the little tiny cracks and grooves that maybe where the glue didn't quite seal. And then it was much more sandable. And what's kind of a recent thing I just discovered was I was working on a ton of different helmets and pieces. I had them all out in the sun and it was 105 degrees and they worked. And so I took out my heat gun and I started heating them up again and I found they were still very pliable. So it's even after it's made, if you heat it up, but I would always recommend heating it from the underside, not the outer side, so you don't damage the finish. Just heat it from the underside and then you can maybe curve it a little more or bend it. Yeah.
Fiberglass and Bondo, or polyester fiberglass stuff you get at Home Depot and Bondo are both polyester based, so they're plastic based. So they do have a little bit of flex if you heat them up.
Exactly.
If you're gonna do if you're gonna do fiberglass or Bondo, and definitely if you're gonna mix the two, please get a respirator.
Like a real one.
Yeah, you can get one that'll filter out the smell for like $20-30 at Home Depot. If not, do it outside with a good breeze. Like, don't breathe that stuff in. It's really bad for you.
Exactly. And even after it's made, it still needs to off-gas. So before I paint it, I sit it outside for a few days and just kind of let it off-gas. And then once I paint it, it seals it pretty well. You don't smell the vapor.
Yeah, it's safe once you can't smell it.
Basically. For those who really have no idea what Kitbashing is, it's basically really fancy origami.
Yeah. Bring it out in part time.
What is the ratio we say of the fiberglass to Bondo?
I kind of go by, it depends on what I want to do with it. If I want it, sometimes I'll use it with a lot more fiberglass than Bondo. If I want to quickly fill in. Yeah. Basically, it's kind of trial and error and what works for the particular application.
Yeah.
If I'm doing the inside of the helmet, I'll use more fiberglass than Bondo so that it spreads more easily. The outside of the helmet, if there's a lot of fine detail, I'll want to use, again, more fiberglass than Bondo.
There are videos on YouTube for this. There's a couple guys on the 405th who have made videos on YouTube who have done it.
You can see them doing a helmet.
A lot of guys will call it Rondo,
Yeah.
resin Bondo. A lot of people actually in the film industry do the same thing. They just call it resin Bondo.
Yeah, we used to call it Bondo glass when we would do, because we did a lot of, again, like
Key terms to search.
that we would do. We would use it as the gel coat on molds.
Yeah,
So we would
that's
use it, we would use it to put on the mold and then we would fiberglass over it. So that's what.
If you want to see what that looks like, I actually have a mold that I made that way with the resin
It
Bondo.
looks great.
At our table, yeah.
Let's come poke at it.
And then back to it with fiberglass. It's a really weird way to do stuff. It works really well. But yeah, if you want to see what it looks like, just Google it. You can find some videos on YouTube of people doing it. Most of them not wearing respirators because it's hard to talk about a respirator.
But wear a respirator.
But the YouTube comments are still like, why aren't you wearing a respirator? It's like, because I need to talk to you.
Wow. Because Darth Vader is
That
not.
sounds like pain.
Have to go ADR the entire YouTube video. I know. Two points over. Here I am scurrying.
Yeah.
Still scurrying.
I watch those ones.
Real time. Are there any other questions for you guys? Yeah.
When you're trying to make like a series, how do you think the best way is to make it work?
Do you mean like prosthetics for the face or the
There's a lot of questions in there.
Like the face.
Face part?
Throw that up.
Sounds like good.
Well, what are you making? Like, is it a prosthetic?
Kind of like the Lord of the Rings.
Or do you mean
Oh, okay.
a mask or stuff you glue to somebody's face?
Well, Lord of the Rings are depending on if you're getting close-ups of the face. The difference is someone that's going to be speaking and having close-ups will have multiple prosthetics on their face. But people in the background might just have like a mask, a full regular mask. So if this is like a bad guy who's not going to have a speaking role, you could totally just sculpt a mask onto a head cast or even a foam head and then cast it up. Or you could do just the face and then a wig behind it. I mean, that would be the cheapest way is to just sculpt the face. And
A
then
really
you know.
easy way, back when the very beginning method of
Might
special
make
effects. Yeah, I'm trying to think the very beginning way for making prosthetics on a face. You get some stuff called mortician's wax or
Oh, yeah, the wax stuff. Yeah.
scar wax.
Scar wax,
Yeah, you get some scar wax, which is very easy to find in theatrical makeup stores. They use them here all the time. And you can just kind of take it and poke it all over the face and sculpt it onto your actor's face. And then you can also get latex to seal it in and seal it on the face. certain like Prozane, kind of seal it with that too, or Spirit Gum's the easier version, but it's a little grosser. That's the really simple, cheap way, the really beginner way, but it might be the easiest for you guys in this case. And then you just get some Ben Nye colors and go to town painting. Make sure you practice first. You gotta practice a couple times, because I promise you the first time will not be that great. And Star Wax has a little bit of a technique to it, you gotta learn.
And you can find a lot of, people have done a lot of stuff like that. So you can find, and you can find, if you look through like, if you can find costume shops in your area, a lot of times you can find like pre-made ears and noses
ears and stuff.
and stuff that you can sort of like, again, the cheapest way to do most everything is if you can find something that's close to what you wanted, regardless of what it's for or what they intended it as. Like a lot of like Spock ears or elf ears, orc ears or like elf ears with like notches cut in them.
Yeah.
So if you can find stuff that someone made, most of the time it's going to be cheaper to buy the pre-made one than to try and do it yourself.
Yeah, no matter what you think, just buy it.
And then just, so you can piece a lot of that together and then do some of the scars
And
stuff.
fill it in with the mortician's wax, the scar wax.
Yeah, we live in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so a lot of it's really easy to
I
find.
guess all of us, right? You're down there, aren't you? Yeah.
So we all live there.
Yeah, the three of us especially, because we're kind of spoiled with the movie industry, so there's a lot of like makeup shops that sell
You need to
special
tell me where you
effects
get
type
that,
stuff.
got that chrome though, 'cause I think
San Francisco has Krylon right there on 11th Street.
Very cool, for all you locals.
Yeah,
Actually, that's
but if
nice.
you find like a big shop like that, then,
Is there a question?
I'll let you.
but if you can, the other great thing, like if you can find one of those shops that specializes in that stuff, go ask them.
Yeah.
If you're like what I learned to do is the place where I bought most of my mold making stuff when I was learning, the first couple times I went, I was like, I need this, because I found that on the internet. I'd be like, here you go. And I get home and be like, this doesn't do what I thought it did. I wanted to just go and be like, here's my project, this is what I want to do, how would you recommend I go about it?
You'll learn a lot of new
Because
techniques.
they deal, most people deal with a lot of stuff, so they're going to know a lot more specifically about this stuff. So.
Yeah, the makeup people, literally like every makeup store in LA, like I've gone into all of them so many times. I'm like, I don't know how to do, like even like these tattoos, I'd never done this before. I looked it up online, I went into the makeup store, I asked the girl what to do, and then I did it, and it worked. So I was like, yeah. But I did do a test before and I messed up like 10 times, but and I learned, so yay.
Yeah, what's the most cost-efficient material you use for armor, so like medieval armor or like a knight?
Yeah, EVA foam.
EVA foam?
Yeah.
Which is craft foam, you can get at Michael's.
Exactly.
But you can get it in bigger thicknesses if you search for EVA.
Yeah,
That's
you can
the same
get,
difference.
you can get craft foam at Michael's that comes in like the skinny stuff, the quarter-inch. You can buy like the Harbor Freight floor mats. big
Costco has
ones.
it now.
Costco
Costco
does
periodically
have
has it, and it's the exact same with Harbor Freight stuff, but you get twice as much because it's Costco.
Just use a heat gun to heat it up, or?
Yeah, the thicker it is, the harder it can be to
You can actually
bend.
get a shape and hold it.
But again, like a lot of the guys who do, like the reason the 405th became a huge place for Pepakura is they realized they could use Pepakura with foam.
Yeah.
And instead of doing like, instead of like building a box, they would just like take that top square and cut it out of foam and layer stuff.
Yeah, I use the pep files.
So most, like a lot of the Iron Man and Halo guys now, they're all wearing floor mats.
And made with Krylon or plastic?
Yeah, it's really light.
Yeah.
You paint it with like, the plastic dip or the latex like we were talking about, and it's really durable. It weighs almost nothing.
They're so cheap. They're cheaper than buying them from a foam store.
Yeah.
Like if you go to a foam store,
You just got the rolls.
like, they'll try and charge you so much. Then if you go buy the floor mats, you're like,
It's the
oh,
same thing.
it's the same thing, and it's
Exactly.
crazy cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a Harbor Freight, you get 16 square feet for $8.
That's another reason that a lot of people do it, is it's so cheap.
Yeah,
easy,
and you can put it
crazy.
together with super glue.
Yeah, warning about hot glue. I have experienced this. Hot glue, if it is a cheaper hot glue, will melt at around 100, 110 degrees. So if you're in Atlanta walking in a parade wearing all black, your hot glue is going to start to get soft. It won't melt, it won't get liquid, but it will get soft and you will fall apart. As I had happened. So
Yeah.
don't do that. Get either a high quality or go for the super glue.
Yeah, the
Don't
contact, I use
bother.
the contact cement.
Contact
cement,
Yeah,
bars.
anything that sticks together when you put things on each side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not hot glue.
Just for people who are up here, if anybody's not aware of it, if you're looking for the makeup store like you're talking about up here, Larry's Theatrical is very well, they're not cheap, although they do have everything from paper mache Viking horn helmets to good stuff. But Larry's Theatrical up here would be the place you go if you really wanted, like professional
On
advice,
course,
and work
also
in San Francisco,
If you're in the East Bay.
South Bay.
But Krylon is the #1 makeup for
Depends on what you're doing, I would actually say. I know for me and the different makeups I use for special effects, it really depends on the project I'm working on.
Yeah.
For body paint, we use Mayron, which we'll be doing the live body painting demo at C13 tomorrow. We intend to do it if you want to see body painting. And we're going to be doing airbrush with Mayron. Otherwise, there's Crayon for all colors, Ben 9 for cream base.
So that was Dr. Manhattan we used.
Dr. Manhattan, we use Ben 9
Ben 9.
for water-based makeup. There's alcohol-based.
Completely blue all day.
So many things. But yeah, if you have questions about body painting, come see us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you're in the East Bay, Encore is a great theatrical supply place. I live in the East Bay, so I went to one by the mall. They have everything I need. I think we have time for like one more quick question if there's one more out there.
Have you any great hacks for finding things less expensive at hardware store and also
I used to live in Home Depot. Especially when I built like my TF2 costume, it was one of those things like I've moved a lot in the last few years. Whenever I moved somewhere, I would go to Home Depot and they'd just take an hour and wander around and used to like, what does this store have? Because they're all a little different. And just sort of like wander through like the plumbing aisle and like electrical and like go places that you normally wouldn't. You're gonna find a lot of weird stuff, especially in like building supplies, and you'll find all these weird little doodads. You're like, I don't know what most of it does. My dad's a general contractor, so I grew up on building sites, and I still don't know what this stuff is for. And
My dad was a house painter, that's how I got exposed to all this stuff.
That's being contractor.
Oh, yeah, my dad was the painter, painting
They've
the
known each other
houses.
for a while.
Sorry. But it's, if you get really, really lucky, when I was in San Diego, I found if I went like after 9 o'clock, there was a guy that worked at Home Depot who was really good at thinking outside the box. Here's a picture of what I want to do.
Yeah.
I need that part right there. Do you have anything that's that shape?
You gotta
Maybe
find
like,
that guy. There's always that guy in every store.
yeah, if
It
you're
takes a while to
lucky.
find
It's
him.
usually an old guy.
Yeah.
Like talking like 60, 70, who's like been in people who worked in that store since it was great, like 30 years ago.
And don't be afraid to get the apps. That's
Yeah,
what
but just a lot of that's just they're just like wander around and look for stuff. Don't be afraid to bug people. Most of them will get really confused.
Yeah.
Especially if you bring in a picture of what you're doing.
But then just keep trying.
Yeah.
The confused ones are the best.
I keep going back to the TF2 gun that I made because it looks like it should be made out of PVC. So it's just the barrel is all these just odd round shapes. It has 2 PVC parts in it and they're completely covered with other stuff because it was all the wrong size. I thought I could just like go into the plumbing section and be like, buy all the parts, and they had the right shapes, but they were all like completely wrong. Like they were all the wrong scale. They didn't connect to each other. But they gave me ideas for other stuff.
I started just imagine doing the plumbing section like.
I think I spent like over the course of like 3 or 4 days, something like 6 or 8 hours just in that aisle. So I just sit down and be like.
I used to do.
I print out my picture on graph paper. So I had a scale and a broad tape measure. And every so often, I'd be like, can I help you? I'm like, I need this. And he'd be like, we don't have. We don't have that.
Well, I know you don't have a T2 gun here.
Yeah, but it's. You can reappropriate a lot of stuff, and like that gun's like what I would do is like I found stuff that was like, this piece would work, and this like it's made out of peanut butter jars and a flower pot and one of those like solar lights that someone in my apartment had left that didn't work anymore because the wires got cut, so I just yanked the top off of it.
Just smush things together.
And whenever stuff didn't fit, I just wrapped it in masking tape until it did.
Oh yeah, it's just made it thicker. Masking tape.
So it's literally like that's how it's built.
Masking tape. So we're going to get kicked out about now. But if you guys want to say where
10 minutes.
everyone can find
10
you.
minutes.
10 minutes. What?
I don't have to go anywhere. 'Cause I'm on the news.
All right, well, I'm a liar. We have 10 more minutes. So if there's another question out there, throw it down.
I'm going to build a costume that the original costume had a pair of high-end Prada boots, which now go used in trashed condition no matter what size for like $700 on eBay. So I found a pair of shoes that are similar, where the tops of the shoes are similar, but the sole is different, and I need to re-sculpt around the sole. And I was wondering if you have recommendations for material that I can stand and walk on all day that won't fall apart under that kind of pressure.
Yeah, you can buy shoe soling.
Yeah, girls fight.
That you can sculpt yourself?
Yeah, I mean, you can use a Dremel to sculpt shoe soling if you need to, and use a box cutter to carve it. and it's just like
That's thick
EVA
enough
foam.
that it's.
Yeah, it's actual shoe soling, like you can find sheets of it. I mean, again, I found it in LA, I don't know where, like.
Yeah, if you can find a shoe repair store.
Yeah, they would have it, yeah.
Well, I found where shoe repair stores seem to have like the pre-made ones that they
Yeah.
just glue on the
Talk
bottom.
to people that work there, like if they do real shoe repair, they're gonna like have a stop
Oh,
it
yeah.
back. The other thing I'm wondering, like you talk to those people a lot of times, like I couldn't find large contact cement is like really good stuff. I couldn't find it in San Diego until I went to a upholstery place.
Yeah.
I was like, do you sell this? And he's like, well, we use it. He's like, we don't have it in gallons. I was like, could you give me some? Like, 'cause they buy it in like a 50-gallon drum.
Right.
Like, well, could I buy some from you? He was like, well, yeah, I guess, why not? So a lot of like those bigger places, like people that do this stuff specifically, if you go and like, most of the time if you're nice to people, they will sell you the little bits that you want.
Also, if you guys have other questions or if you want to show us pictures of what you're working on and get some advice, feel free to come by our booths and we'd be happy to talk to you.
We're all in Cosplay Alley, which is like, basically once you go into the main hall, it's the aisle closest to us now. It's this wall. And
We're all hanging down at C13.
yeah, we share a booth, we're right next to each other.
Emily's gonna float around with
I'm a
us.
vagrant.
Yeah,
I have a booth.
She's a hobo.
I have a booth, but that's boring. Why would I sit there?
And go by other people booth.
And theoretically, if the schedule's still the same, the panel after this is the technology of cosplay.
Yeah, so stick around.
Which I'm also on. We're going to be talking more about sculpting. Reeves is going to be here talking about like sculpting and making like Batman cowls and stuff like that. So we'll get more into like, yeah, we'll get more into the technical stuff. But until anybody else shows up, I see no reason for us to go anywhere.
You know, are they showing up and looking at
I
our
see
boss
Dave
man in the
right
back? We good?
Yeah, I don't see a Daniel or Reeves yet.
One other resource, and this sounds silly, if you go to Burlington Coat Factory, they have more military-looking shirts for cheap prices in the casual department. Check the, we don't know why we ever bought this, but we'll sell it to you cheap racks. And they have pockets all over and hooks and eyelets.
Yeah.
And they look great, they run from $5 to $10.
If you can find a surplus store near you, get the used stuff is often awesome.
It actually dyes pretty well too. We need to change the color.
Yeah. A lot of
It's
the
using
older
natural
stuff.
materials. We took green camo pouch, or green army pouches and we
Yeah.
bleached them out and turned them red for
Yeah,
some
Sam did that
galaxy.
with magic.
Yeah, Sam did that with magic and bleach and dye. But apparently it can be done in a pot under stove. So if you have questions about dyeing, it's awful, but we can do it.
I was gonna throw another now, a couple other random things. If you're looking for like, if you don't have a pattern for what you want, but like you find it, go to the thrift store. If you can find it at the thrift store, you can chop it up and make a pattern, even if it's the wrong color. If you can't dye it, you can use it as a pattern to remake stuff. Not like you're saying like this is all patterns you get at the thrift store for clothes.
Yeah, no, I modeled this off Amazon. Oh, hey. I'm sorry, my cat. Yeah, I got all this stuff off Amazon, and I mean, it's just clothes. I mean, characters just wearing clothes.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a fun costume. Like you don't always have to make giant suits of armor. You can always just be like, hey, I'm gonna wear clothes, but I made this crazy cat, so that was why. That was
Yeah.
All my sewing stuff started from this dress fits, it's close to the same shape. Let's trace it onto fabric and see
Yeah,
what
that's
happens.
super useful. I make all my bodysuits for my shepherd costumes and everything, all from a bodysuit I was in apart.
Yeah.
It fit me, and I was like, okay, so I took
Sounds
it apart, I made a pattern, and that's the pattern I use for every bodysuit.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I didn't have to buy a pattern, because where are you gonna buy a pattern for a bodysuit? Not quite for dancers.
Yeah.
Not quite, and also,
So
you
there's
can
some
put the
stability to
zipper,
put armor on.
also you can put the zipper wherever you want, so.
Oh, here's an idea. How do you guys attach armor to bodysuits?
Snaps. I just sew on snaps, and I sew the snap to fabric,
Pretty good. This
and then I
one's-
sew the
This is
fabric.
snaps.
Yeah, I use so many snaps and Velcro and parachute.
Oh, and Velcro.
glass.
You're wearing a lot more right now, so.
Well, this is all just
Velcro.
And what's cool is I can adjust it, for comfort. And we were talking when we first started about some of the stuff you can put on top of your I found at Sam's Club, they sell 2 cans of, I think it's Rust-Oleum stuff in.
Leaf seeds?
Yeah, leaf seeds.
Yeah, it's like plastic, but way bigger.
guys in Cosplay Alley, except for this guy, he's not going anywhere.
I'm gonna check the schedule on the door, but I think I'm still here.
Yeah.